Hello, my name is David. I have the pleasure of working with CACRAO. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and learn about some amazing colleges. This is going to be recorded, so if you have peers that are unable to come or they missed out on something or you may miss something at the beginning, this will be recorded and it will be on our website, on the CACRAO website. So that's CACRAO.org to get these recordings. I'm trying to figure out how to record this. So 1 second. I'm not sure if that's how to do it. Oops, let me do that.
It is recording.
Oh, stop it. Okay, never mind. And of course, if you have time for any other sessions, you can go to CACRAO.org to see those. Your camera and your microphone are off. You are muted, so your video is off, so the panelists cannot see you or hear you. As well as, like I said, the recording will be available. And from here, we will let our distinguished panelists take it on.
All right, I guess Caitie, you'll go ahead and start sharing. So, hello, you guys. My name is Kiana Prochet, and I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves, but I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions at Catawba College.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Caitie Connor and I am the admissions counselor for our Shuford School of Performing Arts at Catawba College.
Hello everyone, like everyone said before, thank you for joining us and kind of learning more about Catawba today. My name is Victoria Layton. I am an admissions counselor here at Catawba and I work with mainly North Carolina territories, but right now I'm also working with a little bit of Maryland and Virginia as well. But we're excited to have you guys here and to learn about Catawba. Perfect, and I guess we can go ahead and get started. So Catawba is a small school located in Salisbury, North Carolina. It's a small historic town. We have about 1,300 undergraduate students. 84% of those do live on campus. So the other percentage live within a 25-mile radius. Among those students, we do have 29 states and 19 countries represented. And we are very, very proud of our 38% campus diversity. That continues to grow every day. So we're very proud of it as it does grow. It's a little delayed on my side. Sorry, you guys. Awesome. So like I said, Catawba's small, so you're going to really get that one-on-one education and that intimate education. Our average class size has actually dropped to 13 this year. So that's a huge deal. We have such small classes. You're not going to fade into the background. You're not just going to be a number in someone's classroom. You're going to be Jason or Steven, or you're going to stand out. And so that's awesome. I believe my smallest classroom when I went to Catawba was 2 people, which I loved. It scared me at first, but I loved it because we could speed through things that I wasn't quite sure of. And then we could slow down when I needed some help. I'm sorry, we could speed through stuff I did know, slow down when I needed some help. Sorry, you guys. But it was awesome because we kind of catered my education towards me and what I needed. So that's awesome. We do have a 12-to-1 student faculty ratio with 70+ academic programs, and 0% of our classes are taught by TAs. So when you're sitting down in a class, you're being taught by a professor that has been in the field for a very long time, knows exactly what you need to know, and sometimes even wrote your textbooks. So that's kind of cool. Another thing we like to point out is that we do offer at Catawba an individualized major. So what that means is if you are coming into Catawba, you know exactly what you want to study, but we maybe don't necessarily have that specific of a degree. We can pick and choose, and you'll work very closely with with some of the professors on campus, and they will be able to advise you and create that major for you so that we make sure that you're studying exactly what you want to know and exactly what you want to do for your future. Catawba's big goal is to get you as prepared for whatever's after Catawba, whether that's grad school or your career. Perfect. So we do have 23 Division II athletic teams. Our newest is beach volleyball. So we are one of only 2 schools in North Carolina that has beach volleyball with our regulated sand courts out back. So that's really cool. Some of our, I'm pretty sure that like baseball is probably one of our best, but basketball, football, lacrosse, cross country, swimming, track and field, all of that is super strong at Catawba. And we have some awesome coaches that really motivate our students, not only in the field and on the field, but also in the classroom. So at Catawba, you're not just a student and then an athlete, you're going to be both all of the time. So athletes understand that your academics come first, and then your teachers also understand that you are an athlete. So that's kind of cool. If you're not as athletically inclined as I was not in college, we do also offer 11 intramural teams. So intramural teams are just a fun way to be involved, kind of get active, and you can play with your friends on teams in games like dodgeball, basketball, tag football, things like that. But the coolest thing about that is you can also play against your professors. So it's really funny to, play your math professor in dodgeball. So that's pretty cool. We also offer 40 plus clubs and organizations. We pretty much have a club for almost anything that anyone is interested in, anything from like bird watching to, I think we had like a Pokemon Go club at one point, all kinds of things. So we also like to point out that big plus sign that's beside that number, because if we don't have a club for something that you're interested in, we fully support you in speaking up and telling us what you're interested in so that we can start that program for you. A couple years ago, we had some guys that brought up the idea of having a video game club. So they got together, they enjoyed competing kind of against each other. And that has over just a couple years evolved into our esports team. So these guys compete internationally and are currently undefeated in video gaming. We have a huge esports lab on campus with some really high-tech gaming equipment. And these guys even get scholarships for playing video games. So just for speaking up and saying something you're interested in, I'm sure there's other people on campus that are also interested in that. So that's kind of how these clubs and organizations come to be, and Catawba fully supports you for those. So lots of things and lots of opportunities here on campus.
Cool, thanks, Victoria. So like I said, my name is Caitie, and I am a counselor specifically for our performing arts programs. So we just wanted to take a couple minutes and kind of do a deeper dive into these two, because they're some of our strongest. So I'm going to go over just a little bit about what they are and what we have here at Catawba. So in our performing arts school, we have two amazing departments of theater and music. So to kind of just go over these with you guys, our theater department offers a BA in theater arts. That's kind of the most expansive general degree you can have in theater. We also have several BFAs, which are bachelors in fine arts. So if any of you tuning in or watching the recording are thinking about kind of going into the arts professionally, we definitely offer that. So we have a BFA in theater arts, and you can specialize in design and production, or you can specialize in performance. We also have the BFA in musical theater, and that's been one of our strongest programs for years. Have students apply from all over the country and even internationally. We also have the BS in Theater Arts Administration, and that's really interdisciplinary between our Kettner School of Business. So not only would you be taking theater classes, but you'd be taking a lot of business administration and finance and marketing classes to help you have a career in the arts. So those are all options. Pivoting to our music programs, well, let me pause actually. Our theater program is traditionally ranked in the top 20 nationally for theater, and that's by the Princeton Review. So we're really proud of those programs. Pivoting to music, we also traditionally get ranked in the top for music. Starting with, I'll actually jump to our popular music program, is one of the most unique things about Catawba, because we are one of only about 12 schools in the country that have a program like this, that's popular music. So what that means is it's geared towards students who want to become professionals in the popular music industry. So that could be as performers, songwriters, song engineers, producers, several forms of career options for you in music. So that's a really unique program we have. Music business in a similar vein, kind of like that theater arts administration. If you want to have a career in music business, we definitely have that for you here. Music education, you can get K through 12 music teacher licensure, and you can actually specialize in teaching, conducting, or performance with that education degree. Jumping down to sacred music and worship arts, those are two programs that are geared towards students who want to function as professionals, either as a music ensemble director or administrator in a church or liturgical setting of some sort. So both of those programs are really awesome for that. And now to kind of pivot to tell you more about our extracurriculars real quickly as they pertain to the arts. With theater, we have 6 productions, if not more, per year. So 4 of those are going to be main stage. That means directed by faculty. And 2 are going to be student directed. A thing that's unique about Catawba that Victoria touched on a little bit is that we don't gate our productions. We don't gate programs. You can be getting involved in things as a freshman in your fall semester. So that applies to our performing arts programs. Like, you're not going to have to wait till you're a senior to get a main role in a play or musical. Just like with the other departments, you're not going to have to wait till senior year to do your science research and get published or whatever it is you want to do here. We have 4 gorgeous venues, and it's hard to really explain those, but I will say that we are offering on-campus tours and virtual tours during this time, and we'll talk about that at the end of this. And kind of to add on what Victoria said about our extracurriculars and clubs and organizations, we have over 11 for the performing arts. So some that I just want to mention quickly are Blue Mask. That's our social and academic organization for theater. So like Victoria said, our programs are pretty small and family oriented. You know, if you do the math, there's 1,300 students and 70 programs. With our performing arts, we have about 70 students currently split between the 2 departments. But we also have these organizations like Blue Mask, where you can even get to know your peers even better through all the social and networking and academic programs they have. We have a really big marching band, really big color guard, really big wind ensemble and vernaculars. That's kind of our pop music ensembles. We also have something called our campus band. So that's kind of our premier invitation-based showcase band that they tour and perform at schools and do things of that sort. I also just want to mention one more thing before I pass it to Kiana. This second photo on here that has ADP in the background, this is something that's really unique about Catawba. We have this thing called Artist Development Program. And it is essentially a fully 100% student-run show that happens every Friday night in our Hoke Hall, one of our venues. And it is packed pretty much every weekend. This year's looking a little bit different because of COVID. But traditionally, that's a huge addition to the campus climate here, that students are really invested in going to shows and being involved in the arts. So I will leave it at that, but feel free to let me know if you have any questions. To touch real quickly on the audition process. So we would want to have you apply by November 1st for maximum scholarship consideration. And this goes for performing arts students or other departments. And then we have pre-screening and audition processes for these 2 programs. So for theater, you would use something called Accepted. For music, you would fill out the form on our website. And then we're actually having virtual auditions on December 5th. So I will leave it at that, but let me know if you have any questions about the art stuff.
All right, thank you, Caitie. Again, you guys, my name is Kiana, and I'm also one of the assistant directors of admission here at Catawba. I primarily work with students in Western North Carolina, and then also I have the pleasure of working with our international students as well. So I'll be talking a little bit about the Catawba impact, and we'll be going into financial aid and career services and all of that fun stuff. So when it comes to the Catawba impact, of course, we do want to make sure that you are, whether you're interested in athletics here at Catawba. So of course, being that student athlete or really excelling in your academics. But we also want to make sure you are making an impact while you are here, whether that's in the community, in the Salisbury community, or here at Catawba. So this slide gives you a breakdown of the percentage of students that we have participating in some form of research and creativity. And just some examples of that, we've had students, one of our majors, environment and sustainability, which I highly encourage students to also look into. That major in particular, they had a chance where they were able to get into some form of research in Madagascar. So our chair of that department, Dr. Luke Dollar, he's actually a National Geographic explorer. And so being able to really get to know that department and get to know him, and then also there are also scholarships associated with that department as well. So, and then, can't forget that we also have 189 ecological preserve on campus. So wanting to let you guys know that if anybody's interested in that major, but thinking about that research and creativity piece, you will always have the opportunity to be a part of that no matter what department you're in. And then 34% of our students traveled domestically or internationally. So, we are in a consortium here at Catawba with, I want to say 40 students have the opportunity to choose between 40 other schools where they can go and study abroad. And so when it comes to financial aid, your financial aid package will actually go into effect if you were to choose to study abroad. Of course, with COVID, that's on a pause. But of course, once, things do clear up, that will be something available for students to be able to participate in. So I highly encourage students to always look into study abroad opportunities. And then 72% of our students have volunteered in or around the Salisbury community. So this is really important to me because when you do come to Catawba, of course, you do want to make sure you are volunteering here. And then one initiative in particular, we had Habitat for Humanity, where we partner with Habitat for Humanity and then partner with Livingstone College right down the road, HBCU right down the road. And we built a home for a family that needed one in downtown Salisbury. So just an example of how we really do want to make sure students are making an impact here at Catawba. And then 82% of our students completed an internship or a practicum. So depending on your major, you might be required to complete an internship, which is really cool. One thing that I love just about working here at Catawba, I'm in my third year here at Catawba, and so one thing that I really love is being able to see students complete 6 and 7 different internships. And so by the time they graduate, they already know what it is they want to pursue and what it is they're looking for. So that's really beneficial no matter what major you're in. That is definitely an opportunity that I highly encourage you to look into, especially when you are doing your college searches, making sure those internship opportunities are available. So just wanting to give you guys an idea of the Catawba impact and the percentage of students that we have participating in those different forms. Now, thinking about career services, I know I spoke a little bit about internships, but thinking about our career services lab, our lab is literally open for students Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So whenever you want to get your resume critiqued, your cover letter critiqued, if you want to do a mock interview, I know I'm not sure if one of my colleagues mentioned this, but we do have a very strong connection with our alumni, whether it's here in the Salisbury area or maybe in another state. I also had the opportunity of traveling to South Carolina and Georgia and meeting some of our alumni in those areas, but we have a very strong connection with our alum. And so they are very adamant on making sure that our current students have what they need in order to excel. So a lot of our alumni come and do mock interviews with students. We've had opportunities where students have gotten jobs on the spot from these mock interviews. And then also we have what we call a Catawba to Career assessment. And so that's an assessment that you can literally take anytime while you're here at Catawba, whether you're in your freshman year or your senior year. And that assessment will let you know your skills, your abilities, and different jobs that you might not have thought about out there in the work field. So being able to take advantage of that, we do have a lot of students that do take advantage of that opportunity. And then kind of get into you guys into some statistics. So 97% of our 2018 graduates had a job or were within graduate or professional school within a year after graduation. So that number really, I don't know about you all, but that number really sticks out to me because that really shows me that Catawba really does take that extra step in making sure that you as a student have what you need in order to excel. So of course we want to make sure that you are excelling, whether it's on the track or on the field, whether you're a student athlete, and then also excelling in your academics. But we also want to make sure you have that placement once once you do graduate and graduation does come. So I hope you guys can, sense that from our excitement here during the presentation, but that's just a little bit about career services and how they're there to really serve you. Now, thinking about the most important slide, financial aid. So tuition, room and board, when we're thinking about the financial aid piece, around $42,240. Don't get scared at all because nobody pays that full price here at Catawba because 100% of our freshmen and transfers do receive financial aid. So what does that mean what that means is every student that's here at Catawba gets a merit-based scholarship. So depending on your test score, well, not your test scores, but your GPA, if you were able to take the test, then definitely send those in. But if you're not, definitely we're just looking at your GPA. But we usually base that merit. We used to just base it off of GPA and test scores, but since you're just sending in your GPA, we're just going to base that merit off your GPA. So merit can be anywhere between 10 and 17,000 coming in as a first-year student. If you're coming in as a transfer, that looks a little bit different. That'll be anywhere between 8 and 12,000. But thinking about that piece, and then so let's think about the talent piece. So if you're athletically inclined, theatrically inclined, departmental scholarships, we'll mention that a little bit later on too. So that will fall in that piece. And then our Catawba Need Grant is a grant that our financial aid office determines whether you or your family will or will not qualify for. So they look at many different things when they're trying to figure out Catawba Need. So they're looking at the merit, the talent, the estimated family contribution from your FAFSA. So this really gives you guys a consolidated look of the financial aid package so you can get a better idea of what you're going to be looking at, because we know that definitely is an extremely important part of the search process when you are looking for the best fit school for you. So another thing I want to quickly mention is with your application, so say you complete the application and you complete the FAFSA and say January, February comes around, that is when you'll be receiving your financial aid packages from us here at Catawba. And so what we'll do as your counselor, we'll give you a call and say, hey, let's review this financial aid package and figure out, where we're at as far as whether you're interested in a certain major, and we can get you connected with that department and see if there are any scholarship opportunities available. Now, thinking about scholarships, so departmental scholarships, some of those departmental scholarships in those areas of interest, so definitely music, theater. Caitie will go talk about our theater scholarship in just a moment, and then our environment and sustainability, history, and even more. So one thing that I encourage you all to do, if you're interested in a certain department and you know what that area is, please feel free to go on our website and you'll see whether that scholarship, there is a scholarship in that department. If you're not quite sure, please feel free to email us and let us know. But those departmental scholarships range anywhere between $2,500 and $5,000. And also it's dependent on that department. We also have our Socratic Scholarship Competition, which is an academic distinction-based scholarship. So what that means is if you have our eligibility requirement, a 4.0 GPA or a 3.5 unweighted GPA, and you apply before November 1st, you'll automatically get an invitation to compete in our virtual competition this year. And so once you compete in the virtual competition with some other students, one student actually has the opportunity of getting a full tuition scholarship. Another really good thing about that opportunity is that you can also interview for our honors program. So that is also an opportunity that I highly encourage students to jump on, is our honors program. And then our Spirit of Catawba Scholarship is slightly different. So it's more geared toward your character and culture, scholarship, and service. So if you embody one of those 4 pillars, which is the pillars here at Catawba, then we can nominate you just from looking at your application. You can get one of your school counselors to nominate you, one of your teachers, somebody out in your community. Unfortunately, mom or dad can't, but somebody that knows you, they can nominate you for the scholarship. You'll also get an invitation, hopefully to come to campus. If not, do the competition virtually, and then one student gets a full tuition scholarship for that one as well. So giving you an idea of these 2 scholarship competitions that we have, and then also our departmental scholarships. But if you guys have any questions regarding scholarships, please feel free to reach out to one of us so that we can connect you with that department and get your questions answered. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to Caitie so she can talk about our theater art scholarship.
Yeah, thanks, Kiana. So I just wanted to highlight this one in case we have any theater students tuning in. Like our Spirit of Catawba and Socratic scholarship, this is our other most prestigious scholarship at Catawba College. So it's a full tuition scholarship for 1 incoming theater art student per year. And the faculty decide on it and who they think would be the best fit and who who demonstrates our theater departmental mission. So the eligibility requirement for that this year is just a 3.7 GPA or higher. And we would conduct screenings for that during our masterclass Saturday, which is essentially our name for our virtual audition. So if anyone's tuning in or watching the recording who's a theater art student, you would just have to apply by November 1st and then sit in on our December 5th virtual audition day. And then we would invite you to then do a second interview for this full tuition scholarship. But I'm happy to answer any more questions about that.
Awesome. So now you've got a lot of information about Catawba and it's time to apply. So our application did open up on August 1st and it is completely free to apply. So it doesn't hurt to apply and just kind of see what we can offer you and just to have that conversation. So middle 50% ranges for some of our applicants that we're looking for is a GPA of about a 3.0 to a 4.0. SAT scores of a 910 to 1140 and ACT scores of an 18 to a 24. Now we do know that things are changing. We know COVID. So one thing we like to point out is that we have not always, but we have for a while had a test optional way to apply, but we have kind of relooked at those requirements and kind of lessened those a little to help the students that have not been able to take a test. So if you have not been able to take the SAT or the ACT, we are allowing you to apply test optional. The only thing that you will have to submit extra is going to be a 600-word essay and then also a letter of recommendation from a core subject teacher or your high school counselor. So just keep that in mind. There's also some more information online. If you go to www.catawba.edu/test optional, that will give you all of those requirements that I just listed. It'll also give you the prompts for your essays and all of that. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer any questions about that test optional question. Another thing I like to always point out is that we review your test scores all the way up until pretty much the day you start classes. So if you did get to take a test and you are able to take a test again, we always super score, so we'll always bump that scholarship up if your test scores raise and increase your scholarship amount. So keep that in mind. Always make sure you send us those test scores if you retake your tests. We are also on Common App. So if any of your schools kind of push Common App or you're applying to any other schools that use Common App, we are on there. So a quick and easy way to apply. So yeah.
And I'll mention one more thing. We are technically a rolling admissions institution, meaning that you can apply whenever you like, and we'll get a decision to you within 2 weeks. However, I think we mentioned earlier a couple times that we do have that priority scholarship deadline of November 1st. So if any of you want to be eligible for any of those bigger full tuition scholarships, or just those departmental scholarships, we highly, highly recommend that you definitely apply by November 1st.
And I'll also mention as far as the writing samples, so we do have prompts on our website that you can follow. You can answer either one of the 3 questions on our website, or say, for instance, if you have an essay that you've written within your junior or senior year of high school that's graded, you can send that in as well. So please, 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 if you do have an essay that you've already written from high school, you can send that in. And we don't require you to send in official transcripts or official test scores. You can send us the unofficial and we can give you a decision off of that unofficial transcript. So just wanted to kind of mention that. And then also our letter recommendation, your letter recommendation, if you are applying test optional, it needs to come from either a subject core teacher, so math, English, science, or one of your school counselors. So if you guys have any questions regarding the application process, or maybe you're having some issues submitting your application, please feel free to reach out to us so that way we can get you those answers.
So here are some links to our social media if you want to stalk. Additionally, this QR code on the top right-hand corner will take you guys to a link to all of our social media platforms. If you haven't used a QR code before, you just take your smartphone and go to the camera app and then put it in front of the QR code and it'll take you to the link. So that's the one in the top right corner. This QR code in the bottom right corner will take you guys to our virtual video tour. So I know some of you tuning in might not live that close to Catawba or might not be able to visit us in person. So we highly recommend that everyone check out that video. We also want to mention that we are offering in-person campus tours during this time. So they're limited. A student's allowed to bring a maximum of 2 guests. We offer morning and afternoon slots as well as Saturday mornings. In addition to those, we are also offering virtual visits. So that's where you could essentially meet with your counselor over Zoom or a video platform, and they could kind of give you that in-person experience to the best of our ability. So we could walk through our in-person information session, we could walk you through a virtual tour, and then we could also have the option to even set you up with a Q&A with current faculty and perhaps current students in a program if you already know what you're going to major in. So we're really excited about that. We hope that you take advantage of it. I think it's a potential perk of being virtually this year, or having things virtually this year. We would love to connect you with some students and faculty. So you can just go to catawba.edu/visit and you can request either the in-person visit times or that virtual visit experience as well.
And I'll also mention, if anybody's interested, we actually are doing a virtual open house tonight. It is from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you guys do have any time tonight and you want to sit in on the virtual open house, it'll be a really nice session. We actually have some of our faculty members from our different departments, our School of Health Science and Human Performance. If we have anybody interested in sports management, nursing, exercise science, our psychology department will also be present, and then also our School of Education. So if any of you guys are interested, please feel free to reach out to us. I know Caitie pulled up our contact information on this next slide. So please feel free to send us an email, a call, a text, whatever, so that way we can get you connected and get you registered for the event tonight. So we're definitely looking to connecting with you all. Anything else you guys have to mention, Caitie or Victoria?
No, I don't think so. I think at this point we'll open it up to any questions you guys have. Like David mentioned, we can't hear you or see you, but drop it in the Q&A box. And don't be shy. We can keep it anonymous. So even if you think it's a dumb question, no questions are dumb. And we will keep it secret. But yeah, we will pause for a second and see if anyone has any questions. All right, someone asked, can you give an example of any nursing classes? Great question. I will talk for a second, but then pass it on to Kiana and Victoria. But we actually just had our nursing lab renovated in our brand new Kettner building. And they birth a baby every Monday. From what I understand, they have the full real life mannequins They can mimic any type of health concern a human can have. And it's very hands-on and interactive. But I will let Kiana or Victoria add on to that as well.
Absolutely. So I get extremely excited whenever I hear any student interested in nursing. So just like Caitie mentioned, our nursing lab it's definitely expanded. It's actually changed locations. So it used to be in our Shuford department, but now it's actually over in our Kettner building. So one really cool thing, like Caitie mentioned, about the nursing lab is completely hands-on. So you're literally going to have that experience right there in the classroom. So, having those simulations and, the childbirthing simulation, and then also having it where you're actually on the floor and your professors are viewing, what you're doing as a nurse. So it's very hands-on. We have a lot of different connections. We're actually right down the road from the VA and then also Rowan Medical. So a lot of opportunities for students to really get into the field and get those clinicals done. So definitely a lot of opportunities. I will highly encourage you, if anybody is interested in nursing, please feel free to either send me or Victoria or whoever an email so we can get you connected with Dr. Valerie Rakes, who's actually over our nursing department. And she absolutely loves to talk to students about the department and the many different opportunities we have available for students. So great question. And I think I see another question. So what is the best advice for a high school sophomore? Great question. Oh my goodness, you guys have awesome questions. So I guess I'll start off. So I would say the best advice, first off, applaud you right now for being here and taking that step. But I would say the best advice for a high school sophomore, you're already taking that first step, which is, being active in these sessions, asking questions, getting a feel of what it is you're interested in and what you want to get out of an institution. So whether it's like you're interested in a smaller institution like Catawba or a larger institution, I would say really get a feel of what it is that you're looking for and what's really important to you. So whether you're interested in a certain major, look at those schools that are interested in that major that you're thinking about going down. See if they have any scholarship opportunities. Of course, look at financial aid and how that can really shape, your search process. So that would be my best advice, is doing exactly what you're doing now, being a part of these sessions, asking questions, being interactive. So very great question. Caitie and Victoria, do you guys want to pivot a little bit?
I would say my advice would be just to step foot on campus. I know my senior year of high school, I've always wanted to go to campus, but I just didn't want to go through the whole process of deciding. But then I got the opportunity to compete in a band competition here on Catawba's campus. And literally when I stepped foot on campus, I said, wow, I'm ready to go to college. This is where I want to go. And I know that sounds cheesy and kind of corny, but it just felt like home to me. So when you step on a college campus, you're going to know. It may be right away, as it was super easy for me and I knew exactly that's what I wanted to do. Or it may take talking to a counselor and, like Kiana said, seeing kind of what they can offer. So definitely try to visit as many colleges as you are interested in. That's going to help you even just narrow down your list. So even if you visit 10 schools and you were interested in all of them, but when you stepped on their campuses, you could narrow it down to 4 or 5. That can be a big help as well.
I'll add one more thing, more from the technical side of things. I would recommend make sure you're still enrolling in the most, intensive high school classes that you can handle. So if those are honors classes or AP or IB or, whatever curriculum you have at your school, make sure you're challenging yourself. Here at Catawba and literally every other college really likes to see that. So make sure you're keeping your grades up in all classes, but also in the most challenging classes you can handle. And don't be shy. So like Kiana said, take advantage of these opportunities, like talking to your college admissions counselors, your high school counselor, getting advice from tons of people, going to things like these open houses, meeting students. You will not believe the wealth of information you can learn just by talking to other people who've gone through this process. So that was the last thing I would add. We have some other questions. So someone asked, how much does demonstrated interest affect an application? Is it a big thing or is it not really that important? That's an awesome question. We can answer here from the Catawba side. So some colleges track demonstrated interest, some do not. Here at Catawba, we don't really formally track demonstrated interest. So here, it's not a big thing. At other schools, it is a big thing. And they're going to want to see that you put in the effort to visit campus and talk to your counselor and email them, and, you know, do all of those things that show interest. So I hope that answers the question. Anyone, Kiana or Victoria, can feel free to chime in. But here, you know, we don't formally track it in our admissions process. Someone asked, what is LGBTQ life and support like in the school and in the community? Great question. I will start, I guess, and then again, turn it over to the other two. But we do have an LGBTQ alliance who are really just there to, you know, provide support and advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community. And they'll do various events on campus, social events or education events or things of that sort. And I would also add, you know, with us being such a small school, you know, it's really easy to have those events and have that engagement and activity on campus. So I hope that helps, but did Kiana or Victoria want to add anything?
Yeah, you definitely covered. They actually sent an email the other day regarding the interest meeting for our LGBT community and students being able to be involved with that on campus. So I definitely would say it is definitely strong participation, whether it's in the community or here at Catawba, just with that and you being involved as well. So I definitely, what you said, Caitie, definitely was accurate.
And I would add that Catawba is really just a big family along with all of Salisbury. So not only do you see that family, but you also have, like, students will go off campus and participate in theater events off campus, as much as community members will come onto campus to interact with us in that way as well. So this community supports Catawba and all of their students. We have businesses downtown that look for Catawba students, whether it's to give them job opportunities or things like that. So I know that's not exactly specific, but I definitely feel that Catawba is fully supportive of any and everyone that's on its campus.
And I'll add again onto that, because, you know, we didn't really mention too much about Salisbury, but we're located 40 minutes from uptown Charlotte, and about 40 or 45 minutes from Winston-Salem, and then about 50-ish minutes from Greensboro. So if you're also looking for access to these really big metropolitan areas, you definitely have that at Catawba, and Salisbury, we're literally in the middle of those 2 and 3. So I think that's another perk too, to find community in Catawba and in Salisbury, but also in these bigger metropolitan areas if you're looking for that.
I think we had another question. So do you guys have other medical programs besides nursing? So we actually have what we call pre-advising programs. And so what that looks like, students come in. So we have a pre-advising program, and I know Victoria can kind of mention this as well. So pre-advising for pharmacy, pre-med, pre-dental as well. So what that looks like, you coming into Catawba, majoring in whether it's biochemistry, biology, chemistry, and working very closely with that department. So Dr. Bolin, he's in that department as well. And so what they would be doing is pretty much preparing you, whether it's you wanting to go off to medical school or wanting to go off, to pharmacy school. So what they're doing is preparing you to make sure that you are meeting those prerequisites. So once that time does come, you're set once graduation hits. So we do have those pre-advising programs. But if you want a little bit more information regarding that, we definitely can get with you regarding it. Any other questions?
Looks like we only have another minute. If anyone had any quick lingering questions. All right. Well, thank you guys for being so engaged and tuning in. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for your time. David, you're muted.
So thank you so much for joining us with Catawba College. I must admit that I am a little partial to this place as it is my alma mater. So I do hope that you guys will take a chance to get to know the school as well as get to know some of the really amazing admissions staff there. So as a quick follow-up, there's gonna be a quick survey after you close the window. So I'm thinking about 4 questions, so it won't take you that long. I invite you to sign up for more sessions. Please feel free to go to www.cacrao.org. That's CACRAO.org. The recording will be available at cacrao.org. Thank you so much, and you are free to go. Bye, friends.